So Teddy Blueger finally got his chance last week, played in 3 NHL games, and I think had an impact in every single one of those games. Before we talk about his impact in the NHL, let's get into Teddy Blueger and who he is and where he came from. Teddy Blueger was drafted by the Penguins in 2012 in the second round, 52nd overall. So the 18-year-old Blueger at the time took the college route, ended up playing 4 seasons in college. He got 19 points in 37 games in his rookie season. Then in his sophomore year, he got 26 points in 40 games. Then in his third year, he got 28 points in 37 games. And then in his final year, he put up 35 points in 41 games. That was his, by far, breakout year in college in his final year. After his final college year in the 2015-16 season, he joined Wilkes-Barre for their final 10 games of the season, where he got 0 points and then played 10 more playoff games in that same year and got only 1 assist. So you can tell he was definitely getting adjusted, because it's a hard adjustment going from college to the AHL, not even mid-season, at the end of the year when teams are already adjusted to the playoffs, and he just got thrown in there. So now the following year in 2016-17, the Penguins are coming off of their first cup of the 2. They still haven't won their back-to-back in this year yet. They still have Cullen and Bonino as their bottom 6 centers. So Blueger coming in as a 22-year-old in the training camp. Being a 22-year-old, the coaching staff did not expect Blueger to come in and be in the NHL at 22 years old and make an impact. They knew he had to go down in the AHL and, play at least 1 rookie year before coming and making an impact. But he proved a lot of the coaches wrong, and he made that final decision really hard for Mike Sullivan and his coaching staff. But obviously the 22-year-old couldn't beat out the 40-year-old Matt Cullen or Nick Bonino, both coming off of that Stanley Cup. It would have been really hard for him to come into the lineup, but he did make it really hard for the coaches. He was one of the final cuts, but at the time it made sense. Needs to go down, play his first rookie season, and then come back next year, or maybe even get called up mid-year. Unfortunately, there was no room for Blueger. He did not get called up at all that entire year, as the Penguins went and won their second back-to-back cup. He was in the AHL playing his first official rookie season, where he put up 31 points in 54 games. Now, that's more like it for Teddy Blueger. Really good rookie season in the AHL. Then the following year comes. The Penguins had just lost Nick Bonino and Matt Cullen to free agency. They had just won their 2 Stanley Cups. Teddy Blueger has that year in the AHL experience, coming in as a 23-year-old. This is where I wanted Blueger to get not the 4th line center spot. I wanted him to get the 3rd line center spot, because at the time they had Carter Rowney and Greg McKegg. He was better than both of those guys, but he doesn't make it. Carter Rowney being there from the year before, won the cup with the Penguins. I get why he made the team. Greg McKegg being a free agent signing and having that experience beats out Teddy Blueger. I remember being really upset when Teddy Blueger got sent down. The year before, it made sense. That year, I thought it was his year, being the final cut the year before, coming in as a year older, being 23. I thought he was ready to make an impact as the team's 4th, maybe 3rd line center. He's a good PKer. You could put him on the 2nd power play until the Penguins could have found a real 3rd line center, which they did. They got Riley Shan and then later on Derek Brassard, which leads into the year after that, where it was for sure Teddy Blueger was going to make the team, for sure. But the 24-year-old ran into, like I said, Derek Brassard and Riley Shan. You're not going to beat those guys. And Matt Cullen, who just got signed. That's 5 centers they had. It was almost impossible for Teddy Blueger to make the team in front of that center core. So Teddy Blueger gets cut, goes to the AHL to start for the 3rd straight training camp. And if I were him, I would be really just discouraged. Either ask for a trade or just accept that you're a career AHL guy. That's what most 24-year-olds would do. But he just, and this is why I'm making this video, he just stuck with it. He fought it out. So much patience. He had a great year so far this year. In 45 games he's played, he has 39 points, 21 goals. He's on pace for being almost point per game in the AHL, scoring 30-ish goals, career high in the AHL for sure. He forces the management to call him up mid-season. And not only did he make an impact in the game, he made an impact in his first shift. The 4th line gets out there, and Teddy Blueger didn't get a point on Shan's goal, but he was a big reason why it happened, and the Penguins went up 1-0 early in the game. So because of copyright, I can't play the video, but I'm going to put pictures instead, and I'm going to talk about it as I put the pictures so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. Here you can see in this first picture, you have just Blueger and McDonough. McDonough's job is to guard Blueger here. The next picture, you can see Blueger, like he's already a veteran in this league. In his first NHL shift, already tangles up with McDonough, and that's nothing crazy about that. Look in this next picture where he rides him away from the net. He just pulls him behind the net. As you can see, Garrett Wilson doing that wraparound. And then in this final picture, he's completely behind the goal line. Wilson has completed that wraparound, and Shan has that puck all to himself, and he does no mistake and scores on that open net, and the Penguins go up 1-0. Blueger just took McDonough out of the play, who in my opinion is the second best defenseman on Tampa Bay and probably the best shutdown guy they have. And he just took him out of the play. That's a veteran move what he did, and he did that in his first NHL shift, which led to the goal, which, like I said, if that goal doesn't happen, who knows? We have a whole different game, but instead, Penguins go up 3-0 in the first period. Then we move on to Friday against Ottawa, where I believe he scored his first NHL goal on his first NHL shot. Now, I may be wrong. I don't think he took any shots in Tampa Bay. I should be checking this, but, I think I'm right. But if I'm not, chill with the comments. Just let me know if I'm wrong. If I'm right, then, good for him. One goal, his first goal on his first shot, and then 24 hours later, he scores in Toronto, his second NHL goal, and he's got 2 goals in his first 3 games, made an impact. Didn't get a point in that play that I showed you guys, but he's made a huge impact in his first 3 NHL games. I just want to make this video to say congratulations to Teddy Blueger, because he's honestly an inspiration to every young hockey player that wants to make the NHL, because he shows you that it's okay to get cut and just fight through it. Be patient. That's a big key to this. Be patient, and you will get your shot, because at the end of the day, hard work pays off. Calling these rookies up from the AHL is a big thing in today's game. I think it should be done. I think your fourth line, I'd rather have a fourth line of 3 20-year-olds who are rookies than have a fourth line of 3 35-year-olds who have played over 1,000 games, because games in today's NHL doesn't matter. It's about the speed, and the youth, I think, is more valuable than the veteranship, if that makes any sense. But I just want to say, finally here, just congratulations to Blueger. I think he deserves it. And one more final thing before I end the video. What happens when everyone gets healthy? What does Blueger do? Is he an NHLer, or does he get called back down to the AHL? Now, I think when Malkin gets back, this is not much of a hard decision. Garrett Wilson is the first guy out of here. No offense to Garrett Wilson. He's done good, but he's the first one going to the AHL, in my opinion. Now, the hard question is, what happens when Zach Aston Reese comes back? Because he's going to come back eventually, and who's getting that final forward spot? Is it Blueger or is it Zach Aston Reese? I just think it's a really tough decision, and I think Zach Aston Reese and Blueger should both be in the lineup. That's why, if it was up to me, I kind of want Matt Cullen to sit, and that's why, like I just said before, I'd rather have the young guys playing over Matt Cullen, but they're not going to take Matt Cullen out. That's just what I would do. They're not taking Matt Cullen out. They're not even going to think about it, especially Mike Sullivan. He loves Matt Cullen, and I'm not saying Matt Cullen is playing bad. I'm just saying I think Aston Reese and Blueger should be in the lineup. I would love a fourth line of Aston Reese, Blueger, and Jared McCann, or McCann, Blueger, whatever. Those 3 guys being on the fourth line, that youth, I think they can get that chemistry, but I don't have a problem with them choosing Matt Cullen. I'm just saying it's going to be a tough decision, and I would like to hear from you guys. Who would you play on that final spot? Would you keep Blueger, or do you put in Zach Aston Reese? I think this is just a good problem to have, because there will be another injury. We know there's going to be another injury. So whoever they choose, let's say they choose Aston Reese, we know that Blueger can come up, or vice versa. One of them can come up and give them good fourth-line hockey, or even if they need to be bumped up to the third line. Those guys are NHL players, and the Penguins have a couple other guys in the AHL who can come up and give them good hockey to play on the fourth line, or maybe even the third line. Guys like Thomas DePauli, Adam Johnson, Sam Lafferty, they have guys that I think can come up and be good in the NHL, especially a guy like Adam Johnson. Look out for Adam Johnson. I don't think he makes the NHL this year or gets a game this year, unless, knock on wood, but there's a bunch of injuries. I don't think he makes it, but look out for him next year. He's a guy that reminds me of Connor Sheary, and the good of Connor Sheary, not the bad. He's really, really fast, and he looks like a guy who would be really good with Sidney Crosby. So look out for him. I think he makes an impact next year. Look out for him in training camp of next year. He's a guy who's 24. I think next year is a time to look out for him. He could be a guy that could replace a guy like Hagelin on the Malkin line. He's very, very fast, or a guy who can be well with Sidney Crosby. He's a guy who, he's really smart, and he's fast. That's all you need to be on the Penguins. Fast and smart, and I think he could make an impact in the Penguins' top 6 as early as next year. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know, would you play Teddy Blueger over Aston Reese when he gets back, or how would you do it if you were Mike Sullivan? Let me know, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.